hopefully when they get to Washington, D.C., they'll be able to express that interest as well.
But, okay, I understand that point, Mayor. I'd like you,
our city,
with all due respect, Mayor, I'd like you to answer this question. Mayor,
what is the question, Laura?
My question is this.
I'm listening, Laura.
You are suffering in Baltimore, as many other metropolitan areas are as well. It's not unique to Baltimore, but nevertheless, you're suffering from declining enrollment. You're suffering from a huge budget deficit, while your office is adding 20
not suffering from a huge
staffers.
Budget deficit.
$130 million budget deficit for education in this fiscal year.
Yeah, well, that's not our entire city budget. So I thought you were talking about
your
the
schools.
City.
We're talking about you're funding buses in part to go down to Washington, and yet you have a budget deficit and you're laying off students.
Straight, love. I don't know whether you're trying to become the communications director for the Trump administration.
I don't know why you're getting personal, Mayor. I don't know why you're getting personal.
We're not funding. We are providing assistance to young people to make sure that they get to Washington, D.C. safely.
But why is that your job? Why is that your job as the mayor of Baltimore, to assist student activists? Are you doing that for the March for Life next January?
That's exactly the reason why I'm doing it, because I am the mayor of my city, because I care about my children. I want their voices to be heard, and we're going to make sure that their voices are heard in Washington, D.C.
Have you done that for the March for Life, Mayor?
I'm very excited.
Have you done that for the pro-life march every January?
Actually, the pro-lifers didn't reach out to me. The young
people
you
would fund them next
city
January?
And our country. The children of our city, of our country, reached out to me. They came down, and we offered to assist them so that they can get to Washington, D.C.
Okay, so you're not spending any money? So all the reports on the $100,000 is false?
Because we have too many assault weapons in this country. We have too many children being killed. We have too many people being killed in the streets of our city. So we're excited for them, and certainly grateful to you for
Mayor,
allowing us to be here this evening.
Are you concerned about the fact that 13 of the 19 Baltimore high schools have 0 students today who are meeting grade level proficiency in math?
I am concerned about every single individual who lives in my city. I'm concerned about our schools. I'm concerned about the fear that exists among young people in this country, in my city.
Isn't that a bigger problem, though? Isn't that a bigger problem than training student activists?
There is no bigger problem than having people killed by assault weapons in this country. There's no bigger problem than parents who see young people being killed. There's no bigger problem than people's lives being lost because we have weapons of destruction on the streets of our cities, in our state, and in our country.
As the mayor of Baltimore,
and we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. We want to make sure that this country understands that violence is not the way. Assault weapons should not be given to people, and background checks need to be done.
Okay, so Mayor, just so for our audience, I know you're doing a soliloquy, but Mayor, just so our audience understands, in the future, since you think this is important for students' voices to be heard, if conservative students or pro-life students, can I just finish a question, please? If pro-life students go to you and ask you to provide transportation or support for attending conservative marches because they want their voices heard, will you as mayor of Baltimore support those efforts as well in the education process or just for the student activism process?
Let's be real clear. If the private sector wants to provide buses for individuals to go protest anything in this country, they are willing to support that. Just like the NRA supports all of their issues,
so you're not spending any money?
Young people to have their voices heard in this country.
Okay, so Mayor, are you saying tonight no money is being spent?
To be able to go. I'm saying that there'll be money spent to make sure that our young people get to Washington, D.C.
Okay, so that's my question.
Absolutely.
Government money.
The buses
when you guys
free.
Are bleeding teachers are being fired. Personnel are being laid off. You just hired 20 new people, including a new marketing director in your office, which is great. I'm sure they're going to do a great job. We're getting teachers laid off, personnel laid off, and you're shuttling students down to a rally. That just does not seem to make sense.
We hired 22 people to take care of the homeless on our streets. We hired people to take care of our neighborhoods and our communities. No, we did not. A public affairs director.
Okay, that story's wrong too. There's a lot of reporting apparently that's not true. You're not spending money to send kids down.
I think you would know about that.
You're not getting a marketing
all the time on television stations, on radio stations, and here on Fox TV.
I think it's so cool.
I came here so that I could share with you you what's happening in Baltimore. We're very excited.
Baltimore
about
has
our
been
young
under
people
liberal
who
leadership
will be
for how many
in
years?
Washington, D.C., and we hope that you'll be there so that you can welcome them there and you can hear their voices, because we believe that the voices of young people in this country ought to be heard.
The problems in Baltimore have been going on for years and years and years under liberal leadership. It's not Donald Trump's fault. It's not Donald Trump's fault that Baltimore has this high murder rate. It's not Baltimore's fault.
I think you brought that issue up. I didn't bring up the issue of Donald Trump. I'm talking about Baltimore City and the need for our children whose voices want to be heard. We want background checks.
Would they not?
We want to make sure that illegal guns aren't on the streets of our city. We want to make sure that assault weapons aren't on the streets of our city. We want to make sure that no more murders happen in any of our schools.
Needed, but we're going to send them down to protest.
Over 300 shootings in our schools,
Laura. And that is the fault of the Maryland government. It's not the fault of the national government.
All these kinds of things
liberal
that people
policies
should not have in their hands. And you may want to call it liberal, but we talk about
who's been running
safety,
the city?
Protection
have conservatives
of our young
been running
people.
the city?
We want to make sure that our country is safer. We want background checks. We want to make sure that
want to be safer, don't spend a lot of time late at night on the streets of Baltimore.
You should be 21 years of age, and we want to make sure, Laura,
Mayor, we
that our country is safe, and we look forward to seeing you on
I'll
March
look forward to seeing you at the march. Let me say, I'll go to that march if you come to the March for Life. That's a good deal.
This interview is a great glimpse into the mind of the kinds of people that are running these Democrat cities into the ground. The former mayor of Baltimore, you see her deflecting every question, can't give a straight answer to Laura Ingraham, and you see her cognitive dissonance to all of these issues that are plaguing her city, and her refusal to admit that there are solutions outside of the Democrat narrative to these problems. So no, banning law-abiding citizens from owning firearms in your city is not going to stop gangsters and thugs from mowing each other down and robbing stores and doing stuff like that makes up most of the violence and homicide murders in your city. I mean, this is kindergarten level stuff. Do you really think that the people that are murdering and robbing and looting in Baltimore care about a magazine capacity law or an AR-15 ban? It's so annoying how she keeps interrupting Laura and can't even let her get a question out. It's like she's scared of the question that she might ask. It's almost as if these politicians they're more concerned with going through the motions and appearing to address an issue rather than doing the actions it would take to actually address that issue. So busing in student activists to do a demonstration, a march against gun violence. Okay, great. That's a great expenditure of tax dollars, I'm sure. But, what is that actually going to do for the people of Baltimore? And how is that actually going to stop the majority, or how is that going to address the majority of gun violence in that city? And does she even care about that? No, it's more about the presentation and the appearance of addressing an issue rather than doing the dirty work, doing what it actually takes to stop gun violence.